Hello, hello there, greetings, and welcome to this panel. I am surrounded by a very esteemed, influential a group of leaders today. We're going to talk about TikTok everywhere. I'm George Reese, and I head up the marketing science department at TikTok. And I want to have a really brief conversation with everybody because TikTok is about discovery. Trends start on TikTok. But what happens when you grow on TikTok? As a brand, as a marketer, how do you evolve in your marketing strategy to think about cross-media? I can think of no better leaders that are building in terms of cross-media today, across out-of-home and across television. So let's just briefly do a quick round of introductions. And instead of title, you're all leaders. So help us understand, what are you building?
Yes, so hi everybody. I am Lauren Steiner with Adomni. We are a real-world video ads platform. And I'll talk about a little bit more about that as soon as we get into it, but that is the brief of what Adomni is.
Hey everybody, Stu Schwartzapfel from iSpot. We are a video measurement company, and we measure video wherever it lives, whether that be on terrestrial linear or CTV.
And I'm Kristina Lutz. I run marketing at GSTV, and we are America's most engaging on-the-go video network and partnered with Influential and TikTok. So thrilled to be here.
I'm Ryan Detert. Welcome to Influential Beach. It's the last session of the day. Very excited to have you all here. We are essentially identifying the audiences for brands that they want to speak to, marrying that to creators, and measuring the outcomes, and all on the best platforms like TikTok.
So let's start with, we're going to cover television and out-of-home. We know the trends start on TikTok, but as, in terms of marketing, users are seeing the messages in multiple places. But Lauren, let's start with you. I have a question for you. So we've done some research, and we've tried to understand a couple of different trends. But one thing we saw in some research for out-of-home is we've seen favorability grow in the past 2 years for out-of-home. Can you help us understand that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we, as at Adomni, have become partners with both TikTok and Influential. And we really started to realize with Gen Z, I think all the brands are trying to, go after Gen Z, and we had to figure out how are we going to do that. And it was really redefining the space of what out-of-home is and what we call now video IRL. So with that, we are a video ads platform in the real world, taking creator content, and we all have known that the creator content is what's performing. So we realized, let's take the creator content, and that's also really big with both partnerships. Let's take that creator content and move it from on-platform to off-platform and create an omni-channel approach, scaling reach for brands and really moving consumers through their daily journey. And so that's kind of really where we decided to redefine the space, and noticing that it's far more engaging to be looking at video and creators in the real world. So with that, as far as our ads platform, we have over 1 million screens globally. We reach over 100 billion impressions, and that's really where we're scaling and finding that out-of-home is becoming so much bigger.
So you said the magic word, journey. So we started a trend on TikTok. We saw it on trend. We saw it on the phone. Then we went outside. We saw it out of home. Now let's go back to the home on television. So Stu, let's talk about a little bit in terms of. So we know that cross-screen is it's a time-tested marketing strategy. What are you seeing? What are you doing in terms of like strategies for success on TikTok plus television?
Yeah, so before I answer that, I'll say an organic behavior that I'm observing in my own home is my 10-year-old daughter literally rallying around the couch and the big screen TV and casting TikTok from their phone to the smart television. And literally a group of 10-year-olds sitting in my living room watching TikTok on a big screen, right? So when you think about the fact that most people associate TikTok content consumption with a mobile phone, there is a migration towards television, right? And that has a big impact on how we measure and how we make that data available to advertisers who invest in TikTok, right? Co-viewing comes into play, right? Like, am I giving credit for those 5 10-year-olds, right? Or am I just thinking one-to-one because it's a mobile platform, right? So what iSpot is doing is kind of democratizing that measurement and allowing advertisers to understand what is the reach, frequency, incrementality that my investment in TikTok is driving alongside any other premium video publisher. So that's what we're working on with you guys.
But let's take a step back on the real magic of this, which is creative. So in terms of whatever screen it's on, we have to have a really sound marketing strategy with business objectives in mind. But at the heart of all this is quality creative, and we know that creators is today's recipe for success. So Ryan, you're instrumental in the success of this story. Tell us a little bit in terms of when it comes to creative. What are the recipes that you're seeing for success once a marketer has to go beyond just TikTok? Things are happening on TikTok, but in the cross-screen world, what does this look like to you when you're consulting with brands?
Well, social is the largest crowdsourcing of public opinion in human history, and TikTok is where many people are finding these trends that are happening. And when you think about whether you're a big international, national, or global brand trying to figure out how to hit your audience, it's not just how do I do a large sweeping campaign, how do I find those hometown heroes, the local opportunities to be able to deliver campaigns that resonate in those markets. Then think about creators as both the content and the distribution on platforms natively on TikTok. So you have the name, image, and likeness of a creator from nano, micro, macro, to mega size, depending on their follower base. And they are endemically acting as the director, the editor of their content, and that is going to live somewhere on the social platforms, but it can be extended and follow that audience wherever they're going to go. So maybe they're going to go fill up their gas tank for GSTV. Maybe they're going to hit the gyms or some national or local campaign, with Adomni, or eventually heading back to CTV and heading back into their homes. And how do you have that sequential messaging of knowing what performed best on social, seeing those results and measuring the efficacy, and then seeing how it hit every single part of the consumer journey back to, did it lead to an overall lift in sales, footfall, online sales, sentiment, et cetera. So yeah, the creators act as that both content and distribution mechanism, but it can be amplified and scaled through partners that have really mastered the digital out-of-home and IRL video.
And so
That's a good one.
one of the things I find powerful with the work that you're building and even some of the research that we've been doing is one of the recipes that I think is really critical, and particularly for TikTok, is this notion of high quality creative through creators, but it's how it's been executed. It's because of the tone and the authenticity. And that authenticity is starting to carry across media, which is driving for better outcomes. But one thing that's peculiar is how it's manifesting itself across different places in this journey. So, Kristina, one of the things that we saw also in the research is that when it comes to creators and in terms of out of home, there's this things that we saw on the survey respondents saying that they prefer to see creators in the executions in some of these creatives for out of home, and they have more favorability, more preference, more trust. But the question is, why do you see this happening? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, we see that too with our own research. And, on GSTV, we have only about 5 minutes to engage and entertain our customers and our viewers, 115 million viewers monthly. And we do that with short, snackable content that's much like social. I mean, it's really kind of a similar environment in terms of what a viewer is looking for. And we have the benefit of doing that in a really engaging moment where people spend full attention looking at what we've got, and they're really receptive to that content that's coming on the screen. Mm-hmm. And we have found that creatives work really, really well as well on our platform, and that is for a couple of reasons. I mean, first of all, it's great for viewers. They love it when they recognize Maria Menounos on our air or Tank Sinatra. And then on the influencer side, they recognize like you were just saying, the distribution opportunity of being on GSTV and really extending their platform. So, for example, we have been working with Tank Sinatra the last year. If you're familiar with Tank's Good News, he's got 11 million followers in social media, and we work with him to bring his social account, Tank's Good News, to life, really, in a weekly video series that our viewers just absolutely love. And what's really great, and he says this all the time, is even with his 11 million followers, the opportunity to have his content on our screens and reach our huge audience of over 100 million people has benefited his brand. And then we're creating this really great flywheel, going back to something you were saying, with the more exposure and interest in an influencer, the more brand interest there is too, and then there's a flywheel of opportunity for everybody involved in that. So he's been a really, really great partner with us, and we've seen that with other influencers that have also been featured in segments with Shira Lazar and what's trending on our air, and our music relationships and artists that we've got on their screen. And what's really, really fun is when we see on social, like this really just speaks to the engagement of that. One of our viewers posting on TikTok or Instagram a video of themselves in front of the pump, excited that their favorite influencer is right behind them. So really, really true engagement. Opportunity for them, for influencers, to build their audience, build their brand, provide surprise and delight to their customers. So I think all of that works really well. And as mentioned, partnering with TikTok and Influential, we're super excited to be able to do that for brands and to amplify what you guys are already doing for them. And again, going back to something you were saying, bringing from the digital world to the physical world, or phygital, as I like to say, and back into the digital world. And do that when their customers on their purchase journey, and they're out and about, and they're making decisions. So it's been a great partnership so far. We're really excited. We're just amplifying what we were already seeing too, and it's great to see that your research provides that as well.
Well, the research may be great, but I wish I had such a cool name as Tank Sinatra.
I know. His real name is George.
I would love it. So I may just borrow that. All right, so here's something even more fascinating. So authenticity is what you have to start with to get attention. But let's talk about driving value and understanding how you can get resonance. So one thing that we saw in the research that I happen to have seen in years and years and years of good empirical evidence of advertising effectiveness, show the product. So here's what we found in terms of, in the study for out-of-home ads, where 1 out of 5 people, they're drawn when they see the trends for ads that are using the product. So this question of this old insight that continues to come up, and there's nuance to it, but Lauren, help us understand, what do you think behind this insight and this trend? What are you seeing today? What's different? What's interesting? What's your thought behind this?
Yeah, there's a lot of thought behind it. But that 1 in 5, I mean, and it's kind of going back to what we've been saying, is just as far as the actual creator, and also looking at like the expertise of what we're doing and combining the brand with TikTok, working with, if it's working with Influential and the creator, all other creator agencies, finding that talent. So today we actually have a video to show you, and it really provides the visual of what we're trying to do. And going back, I also wanted to say too, I love the measurement and what you guys are seeing, because just like we're all talking about today, it's nice to be able to show that it's working and providing that unified measurement.
Do we need to play my video too? Sorry about that.
I know we might have missed it. We were supposed to cue a little bit, but that's okay.
I forgot to cue my video, so live TV.
Okay, we're gonna go with GSTV first.
And they're available now. Like now? Like as we're shooting now?
Looks like Subway cookies are worth some dough. The sandwich chain's foot-long cookies are loved so much by customers, they cannot keep up with demand.
Sorry about that, Lauren.
All good.
The point of showing that was really going back to the opportunity between brands and influencers and how that can really build on itself. And it's just a great case study on our side that just recently aired on our screens.
Yeah, no, that's okay. We'll show our sizzle, and It's just like what you were saying earlier, and it's the excitement from driving the creators, and it's actually producing organic content for brands. They are out now, and they are so excited. I always explain it as, look, Ma, I made it. And they see themselves in front of any type of, video IRL screen. There's so much excitement to it, and it really is producing organic content for the brands. So with that, I would love to show, we did a campaign with the TikTok Out of Phone team, and this is the Batiste campaign. So we'll quick sizzle here for you. So, thanks. But this gives a good snippet and a good visual. I think it's always being able to see it to understand it. And this also kind of explains what we do at Adomni with our screens and having access to so many screens. I always explain us as the Airbnb of screens. We aggregate all of the screens from media owners, just like GSTV, and so that's what makes all of our partnerships so great.
So here's something that's fascinating as we're evolving in this journey to where on creative, it's about authenticity, it's about the tone. And then as we heard, this examples on out of home, what's important is that there's some of the additional research that we've done also shows, and as you would hypothesize, that building the right creative with the right tone for the platform is where you can able to get breakthrough. So in terms of if you run a TikTok ad on TikTok, fantastic. If you have to customize it to make sure it's native for the platform and the content, because it's about the consumer experience. That's how you're able to get resonance. But now let's talk about television and some of the recent work we've announced, particularly at the New Fronts in terms of our partnership together. So I know we're going to keep you very busy, but in terms of TikTok and television, Stu, can you help us understand what the latest, what you're building, how we're looking to partner together?
Absolutely. So we're super excited about the TikTok partnership. iSpot has a product called Unified Measurement, which is our way of bringing kind of traditional television investment and newer age digital and streaming investment under one roof with a common set of metrics for advertisers to understand what they're getting for their investment. So put another way, in our partnership with TikTok, we've given advertisers the ability to understand what is the reach, what is the frequency, and what is the incremental value that TikTok is delivering above and beyond other aspects of their media investment, whether that be television, whether that be with another publisher, whether that be with another social platform, right? Being able to literally have hard data that says TikTok drove 56% unique reach above and beyond linear, right? And that's actually a real stat. So 56% of the eyeballs that TikTok generates during the period that we studied did not exist for that advertiser on the linear side of their investment. That's huge, right? Because TikTok's awesome, a lot of amazing content, a lot of great creators, but from a brand standpoint, they don't want to buy the same thing twice, right? They want to know if I've made an investment in TikTok, I'm getting something unique for it. And the measurement proves that in fact they are. So we're super psyched, and we're going to continue to innovate with TikTok, and you guys are awesome partners.
So lots of hard work ahead, but let's try to sum it up, because I think in this journey today, what we want to contribute is a couple of things. Some of the insights on how it starts on TikTok as part of the mix, but it's about this journey of you have to get the creative right, you have to get the tone, you have to get the authenticity. Where possible, please show the product, but do it in an authentic way. And as you expand in your cross-media, think about how to build it together. And with these folks in the panel, I'm very, very excited how we're going to build it together. So to close up, it's a year from now. We've all brought our umbrellas to Cannes, just in case. And what would you like to see as progress for this group a year from now? Lauren, let's start with you.
Really what we're discussing here. And I think moving the creator journey a little bit further along and it going from on platform and like that cross media, right? So on platform to off platform, so not only in video IRL, but back into targeting to CTV and moving along to, to more platforms. It's, and that's where I kind of see it going.
Stu?
I would say, a year from now, I hope that we are able to figure out how to navigate the whole clean room thing. That would be great.
Like I said, lots of work.
Are you on that?
Yeah, I'm right on that.
Right on it. I'd love to be back on this stage with a creator talking about how GSTV and TikTok and Influential grew their career and drove them to where they are now, together with a brand that talks about all the lift they got in their sales or whatever their KPIs are, because we've seen it in bits and pieces. We've seen similar research to what you just talked about, Stu, for GSTV. So think about the power of the right influencer on TikTok, off platform with GSTV or other partners and what that can accomplish. I feel like that'll be a big story a year from now.
I would love for us to be coming out of essentially the new fronts and upfronts, talking about creator, media, measurement as one of the big investments that are being made across the entire ecosystem, and significant budget being put towards, so as opposed to some great case studies, really scale this out so that if I want to hit my audience, I'm not thinking, well, social's one thing. These are all not disparate parts. They're all interconnected. The audience experiences us all throughout the day. And if you're able to really align those pieces together, you're going to see some fantastic outcomes. And all of a sudden, now it's just I'm buying an audience, and it doesn't matter where it lives.
Well, it's time to get to work. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the panel. Thank you for the wonderful hosts. We'll see you next year.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good last Cardigan.